This is Stafford Green-White-Checkered. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stafford Green-White-Checkered. I am your host, your Stafford insider, Darren Ayotte, where we're going to be breaking down every Friday night of action for you from Stafford Spring's own Stafford Motor Speedway. We will have up-to-date recaps for you, point standings, finishing results, interviews, and much more. So let's get started with our Stafford headlines of the week from this Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. The 59 car of Ronnie Williams wins back-to-back SK Modified races after finally breaking out of his midseason slump. Unlike last week, though, this was more of a convincing win, passing Rowan Pennick on lap 25 and pulling away. Pennick, the points leader, made a push at the end, but it was too little, too late. The other major story in the SK Modified feature spotlighted rookie Mike Christopher Jr., nephew of Ted Christopher Jr., who finished a career-best 4th in the feature, passing the likes of Keith Rocco, Eric Byrne, and more to finish one position shy of the podium. After making the jump from the Legend Cars division last year, Christopher is already making his presence known with the tier division in the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. And the 43 of Devin O'Connell and the 92 of Tom Fern each won their division best 6th race of 2015. They are the only two to do so. We'll have those recaps coming right up. But let's start for the second straight week with the Dare Stock recap. And the 27 of Phil Evans was back for his 5th start of the season in the Dare Stock and had the car capable of taking it to the ever so competitive Dare Stock division. Take a look.
Good racing wherever you look, side by side for second, as Evans continues to string it out down the back straightaway. Latois and Dembeck, Tyler Trott and Beyer, they head down into turn number 3. Phil Evans looks for win number 2. He rumbles into turn 4, car number 27, and Phil Evans has secured a victory as Dembeck will finish in 2nd. Latois will finish in the 3rd position.
Yeah, right before that restart, man, they were all over me. You know, the car was really tight, and man, I was doing everything I could to keep them behind me. But that last restart, I got a good jump on them, and they got too wide into one.
So how about Phil Evans? A household name over at the new London Waterford Speed Bowl is slowly becoming a household name at Stafford, getting his 2nd win in just his 5th start in the Dare Stock division. So now let's show you the top 10 from that feature event. 15 laps was the feature. Dan Dembeck picks up 2 points on Frank Latois Jr. with his 2nd place finish in the championship standings. Frank continues that top 5 streak though. 15 races, 15 top 5s for Frank Latois. Tyler Trott finishes in the 4th spot, his 13th top 5. Trace Beyer finishes in the 5th position. So 2 top 5s now for Beyer since that 12th place finish 3 weeks ago. Brandon Michael in the 74 car finishes in the 6th position. That's his 1st race of the season. So good to see those guys back in action at Stafford. Alex Fern finishes in 7th. 2 9th place finishes for Zach Robinson. And in 10th, Chris Bagnall, the rookie, rounds up the top 10 in a 12-car Dare Stock field. So now let's update those point standings for you with just 8 races left in the championship season. Frank Latois Jr. remains up front, just 10 points ahead of Tyler Trott and Dan Dembeck, who are in a tie. Trace Beyer is 46 back, Alex Fern 70 back. Zach Robinson now over 100 points out. It's getting tougher and tougher for him to get back into the championship hunt as he gets into the triple digits. Marcello Ruffrano misses another week, so he's 204 back now in the standings. And rounding out the top 10, Paul Borden Jr. and Doug Phelps Jr. once again. They are 294 and 348 back respectively. No position swapping this week in the Dare Stock division, but still, that 3-way battle, just 10 points separating them, all 3 more than capable of that Dare Stock championship. So now let's get the fan favorite once again, the Legend Cars recap. And the 43 of Devin O'Connell was looking to bounce back after his fuel pump wire unplugged on its own last week. We found out what the problem was with that car, and that resulted in his 2nd to last place finish and being down on power. This week, though, O'Connell drove his car from the rear of the field in no time and took the lead on lap number 9.
And Hodgson with a do-or-die move against DiMatteo, and DiMatteo comes right back. And he pays him back on the white flag lap. Look at Hodgson, and he is back in the top 3.
He certainly is. He just doesn't give up. But still, here comes the checker. And to take down the win, it is the number 43 of Devin O'Connell.
Yeah, definitely. The car was on rails for the feature. We struggled a little bit for practicing in the heat race, and we got that thing ready for the feature, and she was hooked up. So I can't thank my dad enough for working his butt off.
What a year that guy's having, huh? Devin O'Connell with his 6th win in the Legend Car division in that 43 car. A huge win as they look to regain some ground after last week's problems in the standings. So now let's look at the finishing results from that feature. And once again, you'll see that 10 cars didn't even compete in this feature event. It was just 9 once again. So that doesn't really give a lot of room for position swapping in the standings. Teddy Hodgson finishes in the 3rd position, his 10th top 5. He was very happy and not satisfied though after we talked to him on the podium. He wants to get a win. Dana DiMatteo, he loses 6 points on the 43 car, finishing in the 4th position. How about Ryan DeCandia? He finishes in 5th in that 68 car, along with Jerry Macchia, Noah Corner, who led early in the 31 car. Glenn Corner, his brother, and Brett Crowther. That is your field in the Legend Car feature event of 20 laps. So now the Legend Car point standings after 15 of 23 races. So 6 points are in the favor of Devin O'Connell now. It was 16 back in the last week. Now this week, 22 points for Dana DiMatteo to make up, your defending champ. Teddy Hodgson, 114 back, but he now takes a position over Corey DiMatteo, who for the 2nd straight week does not race. Mikey Flynn, still 5th position, 186 back. Andrew Muller, 268 back. Jerry Macchia picks up a position, as does Ryan DeCandia in the standings. But Ryan DeCandia, 438 points back in the standings. So it's really come down now to just 2 cars that will most likely decide the championship in the Legend Cars. That's Devin O'Connell and Dana DiMatteo, your defending series champion. So it's on to the limited late model feature. And the race that felt like a championship. That's really what it was. Felt like it was on the line all race long, as only 7 of the 13 cars finished the race. There was a lot of bumping and grinding. The lap 12 restart saw a 5-car battle, which included David Ayotte, Paul Ayotte, Justin Bren, Glenn Bartkowski, and the Saunders brothers, grinding between championship contenders. All 5 of them looked like they wanted to win that race so badly. Meanwhile, the 9 of Andrew Hayes was checking out. On every restart, he was able to clear the outside car. And after taking the lead early, he avoided all the commotion and drove his way to victory lane.
Leader is in a zone of his own. The story second on back is a whole different deal.
Yeah, the question mark is hanging over second. Saunders has it now, but Brent wants it. Provost wants it. Paul Ayotte wants it. But wanting a victory is Andrew Hayes, and last year's champion is kicking his way out of turn 4.
He definitely does as they come back to the line. Here's how it'll look. Andrew Hayes will take down an impressive victory.
We had an early morning there here at the Speedway, so we decided to skip the 2 practices through what we had at in the heat race. But, you know, I got a bunch of people to thank. Contingency sponsors, On Time Accounting, Mr. Reuter, Driscoll. And then I got all my main sponsors, Nantucket Community College, Local 3059, On Point Connections, all the guys over there. Thanks for all the help. My Uncle Bob, all the crew members, week in and week out, busting their butts in this car.
Make that 2 in a row now for Andrew Hayes in that number 9 car. His 4th win of 2015. A big win for the 9 team. So the last 2 races, they're getting wins after the 2 previous races. They struggled in the back with some unfortunate luck and some tough breaks. So here are the top 10 from that limited late model feature event. Justin Bren gets another podium, his 7th top 5 of the season in 3rd. Points leader Al Saunders stays right behind Andrew Hayes this week, finishing in 2nd, his 13th top 5. You'll see David Ayotte came all the way down in the 9th position. He had to end up going on pit road with a flat tire. That ended his day. Glenn Bartkowski finished in 8th. He spun out towards the end of the race, and after making some contact and getting a tire rub. His tire went flat as well, so 2 guys with flat tires. Cliff Saunders, who's not on this list, finished in dead last again in 13th position. Another DNF for him as he drove off the track early. And you'll see Paul Aroute gets his 5th top 5 with a 5th place finish. Dwayne Provost continues to make gains. He finished in the 4th spot. And David Como rounds out the top 10. So let's check out the updated standings now for limited late models. Andrew Hayes now trims 2 points off, so he's 44 back of Al Saunders. David Aroute still in 3rd, just 68 back, and Dwayne Provost is one of the movers in the standings. He moves into the 4th position, 88 back. How about Paul Aroute? He jumps 2 positions as Austin Bassett, who did not race once again this week, loses 2 positions. So Kelsey Rutino remains in 8th despite actually being involved in a wreck in that feature event. But Paul Aroute gained some ground. He's 142 back now, trying to close in on Justin Brennan. The problem is Justin Brennan continues to close on everyone else. Before you know it, he will be closing in on Cliff Saunders, who lost a position in the standings as well. So a lot of battles going on in the standings in the limited late models. So it's now time for the SK Light feature recap, and with DJ Burnham and Joey Farino trading wins back and forth these last couple races, there was no question as to who was going to win last night. Although Stephen Kopchik might say a thing or two about that. Of course, he won not long ago as well, getting his first win. He wants a piece of that championship, and Farino has been a man on a mission the last few weeks to win as much as he can, and he really showed that last night.
White flag is out.
This is going to be a tough lap for Joey Membrino, but maybe an even tougher one for DJ Burnham. Burnham slips underneath Membrino. He is in 2nd. Also trying to get on the podium is Peyton Henry, but here comes the mayor, Joey Farino.
Farino leads him off turn number 4. Mr. Inside is Mr. Win tonight. Farino will take down the win. Burnham will finish in 2nd. And Tony Membrino will finish in the 3rd spot.
Oh, this thing was great tonight. I mean, we got robbed last week, put everything we had into it. You know, the car was a little free during the heat race. My crew chief, Paul French, made a phenomenal adjustment.
So the mayor, Joey Farino, gets another win in the SK Light division this season. That's his 4th win in the SK Lights. So here are the top 10 now from that feature event, a 20-lap feature at Stafford. DJ Burnham loses just 2 points in the standings with his 2nd place finish. Those 2 guys were battling it neck and neck for that win. Tony Membrino Jr. back on the podium, his 9th top 5 of the season. Stephen Kopchik finishes in the 5th position in the 31 car. How about Nick Salva? Remember, he finished 2nd last week. He finishes 6th this week. Kyle Jetty gets another 7th place finish. Vinny Ingles, after getting his first podium last week, a momentum builder, gets 8th position in this 19-car field, his 6th top 10 of the season. And Daniel Wesson gets another top 10 as well in that 92 car. He currently leads the Rookie of the Year standings in the SK Light. So here are the championship standings with still 8 races to go and a lot to be decided. 10 points the gap to DJ Burnham and Joey Farino. Stephen Kopchik just 24 back, so a lot can happen, especially if somebody has a DNF, which is always the case. Tony Membrino Jr. picked up 2 points, so he's 42 back now. Jeff Beaujolais is 60 points back in the number 3 car. The only mover was Nick Salva. He picked up 2 positions to the 9th position. He's 180 back with his recent 2 top 10 finishes. But it's still a lot to decide between the mayor, Joey Farino, and DJ Burnham. So it's time for the SK Modified feature recap. The 59 of Ronnie Williams, after his stunning win last week, and absolutely stunning is the word to describe it, he was looking to go back-to-back for the 2nd time this season. Don't forget, he won races back in May earlier this year. Rowan Pennick would do all he could to stop him, as he always does, and the 6th car of Ryan Preece would as well. Don't forget, though, Ryan Preece had to come all the way from the back of the pack in this race, part of his disqualification from last week with the minor incident with Rowan Pennick on the track with 1 to go. So with Preece trying to work his way all the way up from the rear of the field, he ended up making a 3-way battle for that 1st position, very down to the end. Take a look.
They head down the back straightaway. Williams has been the strongest force. He will be the deal breaker if he can hold on. Meanwhile, Pennick looks for some racing room to the bottom. Off turn number 4, Ronnie Williams has done it again. Pennick will finish in second. Priest will finish in the 3rd spot. And what about Michael Christopher? Amazing to finish among the top 4.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing to run up there. We followed Rowan through the field. We got up there pretty fast, I think with 2 laps to go, and or 2 laps in. And we just need to get down to the bottom, and we were catching them. I knew the car was fast. I knew it took a little while to get in, but once it did, it was definitely fast. I tried not to look in my mirror because I occasionally do that, and that kind of messes me up. But this is an awesome feeling, and 4th win of the season. I can't thank my guys.
It's amazing what confidence can do to a race car team. Ronnie Williams gets a surprise win last week. He comes back this week, drives the wheels off the car, and passes Rowan Pennick and Ryan Priest. He single-handedly to get that win. So that was a statement victory for the 59 car of Ronnie Williams. So let's give you the top 10 from that feature event. And Rowan Pennick, still another great showing. He finishes in the 2nd position, another top 2. Ryan Priest gets his 11th top 5 and 3rd, so really not much ground lost there for Priest. But right after Ryan Priest, you'll see Mike Christopher, the rookie. We just talked about him last week getting his career best finish of 6th position. He finishes in 4th, just 1 spot off the podium. What a finish for the 82 team. Those guys have been working hard. Mike Christopher Jr. really excelling now in the latter half of the 2015 SK Modified season. Eric Byrne gets a top 5 in the 66 car, trying to build some momentum with that team. How about Frank Rocco? Solid day for the 9 team in the 6th position. Michael Jarvis Jr. gets a much-needed top 10 in 7th. Matt Galco finished in 9th. You'll see Keith Rocco all the way down in 8th. He just didn't quite have the car to beat this week. He seemed to have something wrong as far as handling goes. Car just didn't really have that drive off of the corners. And Ted Christopher rounds at the top 10 after his dead last finish last week. So this was certainly nice to see out of the 13 car team, your defending series champion, a 16 car field in this feature event. So here are the official standings for the SK Modifieds now, after 15 of 23 races. Rowan Pennick is 10 points ahead of Ryan Priest. Those guys go back and forth, 2 points here, 2 points there. It's going to be really interesting coming down to the end. Keith Rocco with his 8th place finish falls back to 52 behind, so he's still around, still plenty of time for the 88 team, but it's time to go. The 3 car of Matt Galco is in 4th position, tied with Eric Byrne, 106 back. Ronnie Williams picks up another spot in the standings with that win. He is now just 174 back in the 6th position. Michael Jarvis Jr. picked up a position in the standings with his top 7 finish. And Ted Christopher, well, we haven't really said his name all season long in the point standings, but here he is. Yes, he is 246 points behind, but he has cracked the top 10 in the standings. That's what you want to see, that 13 team trying to turn things around after an up and down season for them. So it's on to the final recap of the show, and that's the late models once again. And Tom Fern was looking to get his 6th win of the season. Points leader Michael Bennett, though, and seasoned veteran Wayne Corey Jr. were eager to get a win themselves, and they battled Tom Fern for that win.
And the Sarrett Ford machine is looking strong. Wayne Corey, 2nd time, a charm here at Stafford. Michael Bennett comes back to be on the podium. 2 turns will tell the story. Checkered flag is out, and Tommy Fern has done it with another win here at Stafford in the late models. Wayne Corey to finish in 2nd.
Yeah, we got hung up on there on the outside to begin there, but once we got going there, just pick them off one at a time. He got a great car tonight. I got to thank the guys on the crew, my cousin Stu. Man, we just had this thing, it was going tonight, so hey, congrats to them. And my wife on the radio, keep me calm and keep me in rhythm and going. But I couldn't do without some of my sponsors. I got a couple of birthdays tonight. Jim Whipple, the old man, we'll call him the old man, his birthday, and Bill Cushion, another sponsor for Sun Valley Fire Equipment. So shouts out to them.
Tom Fern, again, his 6th win of the season. Wow. Tom Fern in that 92 car, they are clicking on all cylinders. No pun intended, of course. So here are the full results from that late model feature, a 30-lap feature event. It was a great way to end the night at Stafford. Wayne Corey Jr., former late model rookie of the year, you might recognize his name, in the 10 car, finished in the 2nd position. So in just his 2nd start, a good finish for that 10 team. Michael Bennett, your points leader, finishes in 3rd, his 12th top 5 of the season. He remained calm and collected after the race. He knows how important the championship is, and a few points here or there are not going to affect it. He's built that strong lead. Jim Avellano's, he's back in the feature lineup, finished in the 6th position, his 7th start and his 6th top 10. And of course, last week's winner, Tom Butler, he finished in the 7th position in a 12-car field. So here are the championship standings with still 8 races to go, and Michael Bennett has a 40-point lead on Josh Wood, who retakes the position over Kevin Gambacorta. Tom Butler 56 back. Tom Fern picks up 4 points. He's 96 back as he passes Ed Ricard as well in the standings. Those were the only 2 movements in the championship hunt. And rounding out the top 10, the same for 7th place Michael Scorzelli, Michael Ray, Rich Hammond, and Scott Cook round out your top 10. We will now end the show with our Stafford Rookie of the Week. And this week's winner is none other than Mike Christopher Jr. in the SK Modifieds. Christopher's career best 4th place finish in the SK Modified feature impressed many in attendance, including myself. He had to pass some of the best in the SKs, such as Keith Rocco and the 66 of Eric Byrne, and much more. The 82 car of Mike Christopher Jr. gets his career best 4th place finish here in the SK Modified feature tonight. Mike, you were battling up there with some of the best in the SK Modifieds. What was that like?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Racing with my uncle, past him on the outside, Keith Rocco, and then at the end with Eric Byrne. That was a lot of fun, side by side with him. We're finally getting the hang of it. We had 6th place last week and, 4th this week, so, it's a good week. We're having fun.
Was that the setup you guys need to get a win possibly in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have any, those green flag runs, if we had a caution, maybe the front few people would get together and, maybe we'd have a shot at a podium or a win. But definitely, it was a little tight in the center, a little loose off. But other than that, it was fun.
Anyone you want to thank?
I got to thank everyone on my crew. They've been working so hard, week after week. After we wrecked it a few weeks ago, I especially have to thank Mohawk Northeast for the car. Al Hankey, he helps us out a lot when we wrecked. Tick-free organic tick control, one of our main sponsors. He comes out every single week, so thanks to him. Got to thank the fat guy JJ. Got to thank my dad, my uncle Ted, Sign Pro, Green Construction Management, Hitchcock Pool Water, Eolas, all the contingency sponsors, Joe Pelham at Goodrich. I'm definitely missing a few people, but especially my Uncle Ted.
The 82 of Mike Christopher Jr. now has 3 straight top 10 finishes and was just 1 position shy of his first podium. Can he do it next week? Well, we'll find out soon enough at Stafford Motor Speedway. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Stafford Green-White-Checkered, and for our producer Antonio Squiteri and on behalf of the entire crew here at Nutmeg Television, I am your host, your Stafford Insider, Darren Ayotte, and we'll see you next week on Stafford Green-White-Checkered. Take care, everybody.